Hey guys, and welcome back to another race review. Today we're going to take a glance back to the year 1990 and more specifically the US Sprint Championships. This unique shootout style tournament pitted the fastest Americans head to head against each other to see who would be crowned champion. Now going into this competition, the world record for 50 freestyle was 22.12 and it had been duked back and forth between Tom Jager and Matt Biondi for some years now, with Matt Biondi being the defending Olympic champion and Tom Jager having come second to him. Things started heating up when in the semi-finals, Tom Jager became the first swimmer in history to go under 22 seconds with a 21.98. And in the second semi-final, Matt Biondi had his say with a 22.02, showing that he was indeed putting pressure on that mark as well. The two would then meet in the final later that day, and both swimmers had already shown that they were extremely fast and on form, and it was obvious that something exciting was about to happen. Before we do actually watch the race, I would just like to say if you enjoy this video, please do leave a thumbs up. It really does help support the channel, as does subscribing and turning on notifications so you don't ever miss one of my videos. Alright, without further ado, let's give this a watch. So we have some real 1990 footage here. Look, it's very, very retro. We've got Tom Jager's wife Becky there supporting. And here is Tom himself sporting this yellow latex cap and absolutely absurd yellow goggles. I mean, look at the state of these. I mean, what to say, hey? Like, goggles had only just started being worn by all swimmers at this point. Up until, early 80s, I think. People didn't even wear goggles in races, and some did, some didn't, some just got on without it. This is probably why. These look absolutely horrible. They've got a single strap. They look like the sort of stuff you see young kids in lessons using that are like 3-4 pounds. And I personally hate latex caps. I've worn them a few times in my life for open water swims and just hate the feel of them. But then again, I know like the likes of Katie Ledecky actually still race in latex hats. So who am I to say that they're bad? There he is, 6'3", a big boy, but not as big as the next guy, Matt Biondi. Here he is, and he's gone for that sort of almost fully shaved head look, alike the likes of Brent Hayden and Laszlo Chain, Stefan Nystrom still rock today. And his goggles look a little bit better. They're not quite Swedish, but they definitely look a little bit better than what Jager's wearing. And he's a massive guy, 6'7". You can just see he's an absolute unit. Now, I do want to just draw some attention to what goes on the blocks here because, well, firstly, these blocks are terrible. To be going these times with these absolutely horrible blocks, they're like a foot long. And, you couldn't even do a track start on them. Well, they're quite a gradient. But what these guys do, it's just absurd. You wouldn't see anything like it today. But they actually position themselves almost at the back of the block. And then on take your marks, they sort of shuffle their feet forwards over the coping into their grab start position. Different, I know. Yeah, that's what they did. So we'll see him in action now. So I do feel like there's quite a long pause between take your marks and go because obviously the two guys have to ready themselves on the blocks. And you can see them doing these old school grab starts. So both feet at the front with their hands in between, almost in like a pike position. And it was actually quite interesting. Back then, you could do a full start, and a lot of people would use that as a tactic in competitions. So they would go early, and then everyone would have to come back to the blocks. And some people would just throw off mentally, and some obviously could deal with it and cope with it. And you sort of had to. That was a tactic people used, even in like Commonwealth finals, for example. And that's probably why this competition was so fast because they didn't allow full starts. And if you can think, you're doing a 50 freestyle and you've raced to 15, you break out and then you realise, oh, it's a full start, you've got to go back to the start. You've already used up some of that explosive energy of yours. So that's probably why on the second and third attempt sometimes, when they actually got away cleanly, they were a little tired. So this competition did say no full starts. And yeah, they made the dive work quite well. They have quite a similar dive, I'd say, to Florent Manodou, where they sort of shoot the head up, push the hands down, and snap into streamline. So they get the hands out, drive the head up, open the chest, generating a lot of power, and then slamming into the water. And you could get a lot of power with the grab start. he just traditionally had a little bit of a slower reaction. And yeah, these guys don't do a lot underwater. It's not like you see Caleb Dressel. Couple of fly kicks and then up. Definitely see a more powerful breakout, you know, driving his head up and over there from Matt Biondi. A little flatter there from Jager. And here we go, they're underway. High stroke rate from both of them. You see Matt Biondi has almost a textbook stroke, really high elbows, shooting the hands forwards, very balanced stroke. Jager's a little bit more fast and furious, but still very nice by all means. And God, this is a close race. Oh my God. And Jager just takes it with a 21.81 to 21.85 from Matt Biondi. So 0.4 separating them. They were literally neck and neck the whole way. Both well under the previous world records. The first two guys under 22 seconds. Back in 1990, wearing nothing but a brief, some really basic goggles on the worst blocks I've ever seen. And yeah, they two right there with a little bit of a pop off there. And let's just see the finish there. God, it looks like Jager's a little bit ahead, but then Biondi comes over. Biondi times the strokes better and comes over that last stroke before Jager. But Jager just throws it a little bit harder and just gets the touch. And oh, this is a great little bit of footage here. Let's watch that again. So you see, so his hand enters, gets nice and stretched out, and then you just see just starting to enter and getting straight into that catch. A little bit deeper than you'd get from a middle distance freestyler. And watching that there, I've got to say, I can't help but think Matt Biondi does just break his wrist up a little bit, which might have cost him the win and the world record there. Look, so you can see Jager stretching out. Matt Biondi had come over first, but he's reaching up and not forwards. And when we're dealing with hundredths of a second, I feel like if his wrist went from there to there, he might have touched already. I mean, both of them, neither of them do the sacrifice their fingers. They both lift their palms up a little bit. Let's just watch it one more time, have a little look at their strokes. Yeah, straight in, both up, neck and neck. I'd say Jager almost looks like he's got his hands side by side instead of in a perfect streamline, but maybe I'm wrong there. And they both look extremely high in the water there. They're riding very high on the surface. And they've got a powerful kick behind them, a high stroke rate. Definitely see great connection from Jager. As one arm pulls, he's throwing and vaulting that other arm over. Whereas Biondi's a little bit more smooth and neat and textbook, but probably not generating the same amount of kinetic energy as Jager's doing. But he probably has an easier job of doing that, being a little smaller and being able to turn over a little quicker. Longer levers obviously require a little bit more power to move through the water, which is why someone like Vlad Morozov is great at connecting his strokes. He's a little bit shorter as well. So there it is. This world record, this 21.81, just to put into perspective how mentally amazing it was, stood as the world record for the next 10 years until the 2000 Russian Olympic trials where Alexander Popov went a 21.64. And then that stood as a world record for another 8 years until the Speedo Laser Racer come along. And then Bernard and Sullivan took it down from 21.64 to Sullivan going 21.28 at the Australian Olympic trials. And then the next year, people were going 21.3s and 21.4s and 21.2s for fun. And ultimately, in December, Cielo Filo got his last wear in a X-Glide bodysuit and went 20.9. I think these guys were leaps ahead in sprint freestyle than the rest of the world at this point. And while they both definitely do have more high elbow strokes than nowadays when everyone's got the straight arm recovery, they were just absolutely amazing athletes. And to think the time they went with the equipment they've got, from blocks to speedos to trunks, oh my God, you've got to wonder how they'll do with a backboard block and a pair of Mizunos, or, God, dare I say it, a jacket or an Arena X Glide. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do leave a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the